This is just a really quick overview of the difference between summary and analysis, which is something I want you paying attention to during this essay unit. So summary is something that just is retelling. It could be content of, say, an article or a book or something like that, a movie. And then analysis is where you're building on the content to explain things like the how or the why. So a summary is more content oriented and it's much more objective. If you give a summary of a movie, nobody should really be able to disagree that that's what happened in the movie. Once you start interpreting the movie and talking about what was good and what was bad and evaluating it, or explaining why they made it a certain way, or a mistake that they made, or an effect it had on you, that's when you've started moving into analysis. Analysis is more subjective, even though you can do it in a way that makes it seem objective, but then the idea is also someone could disagree with your analysis. They could say, no, the effect it has is this, or no, it was, you said it's good, I say it's bad. Or it could be, no, they didn't put it together that way for this reason, they did it because of this, or anything along those lines. There's an element of disagreement in an analysis that there isn't in a summary. Summary tends to be really straightforward, objective, not really able to be disagreed with. Analysis, there's a lot of room for interpretation and disagreement in an analysis. So the structure that I'm giving you to get you started on writing analysis, you will be able to deviate from this as you get more comfortable with it, but this is a really good starting point. What you do is you follow these 3 steps, and you can think of it like a sandwich, and it's different colors, but you can kind of think of it, the top and the bottom are the bread, and then the middle is like the meat of the sandwich, and that's the thing that makes it worth eating. Otherwise you're just eating bread. So the top slice, or the first step, is where you introduce the topic or issue you're going to talk about in your analysis. For example, in Essay 2, this could be the article's use of sources. From there, you start providing the specifics. Here's your evidence. Where does it use sources? Point out some places. Are there some places where it seems like there should have been sources and they didn't back up their claims with any sort of external source? Point those out. That's where you get specific. That's the middle of that paragraph. And you also will recognize this is very similar to the paragraph structure we went over last week. It's the same premise. You introduce, you give specifics, and then you respond. And that's the last step, or the bottom slice of bread. So in this case, it's your commentary. It's where you connect it to your overall purpose. Are those choices, especially about sources in this example, good or bad choices on the part of the author? How are these affecting whether or not you believe it? So you introduce, you give the specifics, you respond to those specifics. And this is a really common structure for using and responding to evidence that you really want to internalize. You'll use it in English 102 for like every assignment, but you'll also use it when you get further in your major and start doing writing in your major area, in where you're addressing topics relevant to your major in depth. You're going to need to be able to use and respond to evidence in those cases as well. So you want to make sure you really get a good grasp. That's why we're doing this really early in the semester. We'll use it for several other assignments as well, just so you get a lot of practice, and then you're really well set when you get to English 102. You're really well set when you get into those major classes and are doing writing in those.